Welcome to Topper HQ. Every single night, a massive, glowing spear rises right above our heads. It just hangs there in the darkness, casting those long shadows, pulling completely invisibly at our oceans, and bathing the whole world in a pale, cold light. We write poems about it. We use it to navigate. We've even walked on its dusty, desolate surface. For literally the entirety of human history, it has just been there, a completely natural, permanent fixture of our reality. We accept it without a second thought. But what if our fundamental understanding of that celestial body is completely backwards? What if the most glaring, absolutely impossible anomaly in our entire solar system is hiding right in plain sight, orbiting directly above us? Because when you really start digging into the classified reports, the strange seismic data, and the bizarre mathematical impossibilities that astronomers whisper about behind closed doors, well, it kind of changes everything. In this explainer, we are going to look at the hard statistics, the chilling reports from early astronauts, and the ancient myths that all point to one impossible conclusion. When examining the theoretical papers and source materials exploring these celestial anomalies, one central observation just jumps right out at you. Quote, "There's something deeply wrong with the moon. And the strangest part, humanity stopped questioning it." Just let that sink in for a moment. We totally accept the moon as this mere background object, just a dead rock caught up in our gravity. But when you actually break down the data, the sheer number of physical coincidences required for the moon to exist exactly as it does and exactly where it is, it's absolutely staggering. The math starts to look way less like a random cosmic accident and a lot more like an intentional blueprint. Humanity simply stopped asking the hard questions about what is actually orbiting us. So we're going to ask them today. Part 1. The unsettling perfection. To put it bluntly, the moon is statistically just too perfect. Think about it. During a total solar eclipse, the moon perfectly, and I mean absolutely perfectly, covers the sun. The staggering geometry required to make this happen is almost impossible to comprehend. See, the moon is precisely 400 times smaller than the sun, but it happens to rest exactly 400 times closer to Earth. That specific ratio creates a mathematically perfect visual block of the sun's disk from our vantage point. But this perfection goes way beyond just a cool visual spectacle. The moon's gravitational pull literally stabilizes Earth's axis. Without it, our planet would wobble violently on its tilt, leading to extreme, chaotic climate shifts that would make complex survival nearly impossible. On top of that, it meticulously controls our ocean tides, creating those calm tidal pools where biological life is thought to have first made the transition from water to land. The stark conclusion drawn by the source material here is that without the moon acting exactly as it does and placed exactly where it is, intelligent life on Earth may never have evolved at all. Contextualizing our moon against the rest of the solar system reveals something deeply, deeply disturbing. The moon is absolutely massive compared to Earth. When we look at other planets, their moons are typically tiny, tiny fractions of the host planet's size. Take Jupiter or Saturn, for example. These are massive gas giants with unimaginable gravitational pulls, yet their moons are minuscule specks compared to the planets themselves. But Earth's moon? It's roughly 1/4 the size of Earth itself. It is proportionally way larger than almost any other moon we observe in our cosmic neighborhood. It's essentially a gravitational giant orbiting a relatively small rocky planet. Because of this massive size discrepancy, scientists still fiercely debate exactly how the moon even formed. The math just doesn't easily add up for a natural capture theory, where Earth's gravity just grabbed a passing rock, nor does it perfectly align with a simple collision theory. It is a massive outlier, a perfectly placed, baffling outlier.
Part 2. The Apollo anomalies.
The mystery definitely doesn't end with mathematics and orbital mechanics from a distance. Things got significantly stranger when humanity actually traveled there. Exactly 2 months before Neil Armstrong walked on the surface, the crew of Apollo 10 orbited to the far side of the moon. Now, when they did this, they were completely cut off from Earth. The massive bulk of the moon should have acted as a perfect, impenetrable shield against any terrestrial radio waves, creating a zone of total, dead radio silence. And yet, the astronauts reported experiencing strange, completely unexplained radio interference. They described hearing eerie, low-frequency hums and what they literally called outer space music while trapped on the dark side of the moon. So where was that static coming from? Out there in the void of space, completely shielded from humanity's broadcasts in a total radio shadow, their instruments were clearly picking up something else. But the most famous, and perhaps the absolute most chilling anomaly of all, occurred during the Apollo 12 mission. As part of a seismic experiment, the astronauts intentionally jettisoned their lunar module, sending it crashing violently right into the moon's surface. According to the official reports, when that heavy module hit, the moon rang like a bell. 1, that is the number of hours, nearly 1 full hour, that the moon reverberated from that single, relatively small impact. And we know this for a fact because the astronauts intentionally left highly sensitive seismometers behind on the surface. When the impact hit, the data transmitted back to Houston showed a prolonged, continuous vibration. I really want you to think about the physics of that for a second. If you hit a solid rock, what happens? You get a dull thud, right? The energy dissipates almost instantly into the dense material. The only way a physical object actually rings, vibrating and carrying sound waves for nearly an hour is if there is something fundamentally different about its internal structure. The chilling implication here from the source material is pretty clear. The moon reacted exactly like something that is hollow underneath. Part 3. The artificial moon theory. So let's walk through the 4 massive twists proposed by the artificial moon theory that our sources dive into. Step 1, it was placed there as an ancient observation structure. Step 2, it functions as a localized monitoring station for whatever is happening on the planet down below. Step 3, it acts as a deliberate planetary stabilizer, an engineered gravitational anchor designed explicitly to calm Earth's chaotic, wobbling environment. Which leads us to the ultimate, truly terrifying conclusion in Step 4. It is a machine designed specifically to cultivate intelligent life, a cosmic terrarium. Why would a machine be placed here to cultivate life? Well, perhaps to observe our evolution, or perhaps to eventually harvest something we don't yet understand. And the absolute darkest part of this theory isn't just what the machine does, but when it was made. If this theory holds any weight at all, this structure was not built for humans. It was built long before humans. We are simply the crop it was designed to grow. Part 4. The face that watches. Now, notice something terrifying? Take a moment to really think about your own experience looking up at the night sky. You only ever see one side of the moon from Earth. Always. The exact same mountains, the exact same craters, the exact same face staring down at you night after night. In astronomy, this is a phenomenon called tidal locking. The moon rotates on its own axis at the exact same speed that it orbits the Earth. It takes roughly 27 days to spin once and 27 days to circle us once. Because this synchronization is mathematically flawless, one side is permanently, completely hidden from our view. While science frames this as a natural orbital mechanic, looking at it through the lens of our source material gives it a deeply, deeply sinister undertone. It is almost as if it was intentionally positioned, locked precisely in place so its gaze never ever averts. A silent, glowing observer that never turns its back, relentlessly watching the world below. Part 5. Ancient Memories. If the moon is indeed an artificial watcher, how did our earliest ancestors perceive it? Across the globe, completely disconnected ancient civilizations shared a universal, almost primal obsession with the moon. It wasn't just a convenient light source in the dark. It was a focal point of overwhelming power and immense fear. Zulu legends actually speak of 2 alien brothers who brought the moon here, describing it as a hollowed-out egg that they rolled across the sky. Greek myths of Selene painted a picture of an entity physically driving across the heavens. Mayan beliefs tied their most terrifying cosmic prophecies to eclipses, viewing the perfect covering of the sun as a dire, world-ending warning. Universally, cultures everywhere associated the moon not with warmth or life, but with mysterious entities tied to dreams and, profoundly, to madness. I mean, the very word lunacy stems directly from the lunar cycle. The source text points to specific global myths, defining beings often referred to as the Silver Watchers. These are ancient mythic entities permanently tethered to the moon, said to influence human dreams and drive the fragile human mind to absolute madness. And this poses a truly terrifying question. What if these ancient myths weren't just creative storytelling to pass the time around a fire? What if early humanity in its raw, primal state instinctively recognized something that we have since completely forgotten? What if they subconsciously remembered the actual arrival of this object? What if they recognized the moon for what it actually was? A hollow, ringing observer, long before the comfort of modern astronomy convinced us it was just an empty rock. We've looked at the impossible mathematical statistics, the hollow ringing echoing through the void of space, the terrifying fixed gaze of tidal locking, and the dark, universal myths of our ancient ancestors. It all builds up to this final, chilling thought from our source material. Quote, maybe the first thing humanity ever saw in the night sky was also the first thing watching back. The next time you walk outside at night and the landscape is bathed in that pale silver light, take a long, hard look up and ask yourself, what exactly are you looking at?